Hey everybody, it's Greg again. Yeah, this is another part of the process that is not much fun. Um, these are the cases after I wet tumbled these, deprimed all these, wet tumbled them. These come out of the oven now and are ready to be checked for military crimps or to see if they need to be swaged. And then keep in mind also, as you're going through all these different steps, obviously you're handling the cases quite a bit. You're going to find cases that have imperfections, like this one's got a small dent here in the side. I can tell just by kind of looking at that, that's nothing serious. That'll come out probably with a full length resize. So you do kind of want to be keeping an eye on the cases. I mean, you're handling them a lot, so most of the time you're gonna catch the bad ones as you go through your different processes. Okay, so but this particular what we're looking for now, we're looking because these are all mixed stamped and range brass. We've got regular, regular. A lot of actually call it civilian ammo or whatever sporting goods store ammo mixed in with military ammo that has military crimps. So we need to find those cases that need to be swaged that have a military crimp and remove that. They need to be swaged. And the only way to do it is I use this little tool. It's called a go no go gauge, and basically one end on this thicker end that needs to fit inside the bottom of the case for the primer to fit. Um, and you'll see it fits in. If it fits in nice and snug, or it goes in fairly easy like this, you see it goes all the way in. That case is fine, doesn't need to be swaged. And the bulk of the cases are going to be non-swaged, non-military crimps. So most of the time you're not gonna have a lot of them that need to be crimped, but you still need to check them all. So it's kind of a pain. I just have two bins here. Obviously these don't need to be swaged. The ones that do have a military crimp, you can see the gauge. The gauge will not go in. You can see how doesn't you can't even force it in. It's not going to go into that case. That tells me that's going to need to be swaged. That's got a military crimp in it, and you just keep on going through them. So it doesn't really take that long, and you can be again. Here's another one. This one's going to need to be swaged. You can be doing something else, watching a movie or watching a video. Some might not go in right away, and then you give them a little twist, and they will go in. And they'll be fine. Might be a little snug, but they'll be all right. And then keep in mind too, as you're priming these, once this is done, and from here they're going to get run through the full length resizer and trimmed and all that. And then you're priming them. Keep in mind, if you're running the primers in and you feel one, if you feel a case that the primer is really hard, it's not going in, then stop. Don't force it. Take the case out, and you may need to run it through the swager a couple more times to get that primer pocket opened up. But you never want to force a primer in. So again, pretty easy process. It'll go faster than you think. You just cruise through all these, check them all. Like I said, most of them are not going to end up needing swaged. So I'm not going to bore you with all that. Just that's the next. I believe this is step number 3. And then after this, we'll move on to step number 4, which is going to be these will be clean and swaged. Then they're going to move on into getting trimmed, full length resize trimmed, and then on through the next processes. So step number 3, check all these for swages, and then go ahead and swage them if they need it, and then they'll be ready for step number 4. All right, appreciate you hanging in there and watching the videos, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks again. Okay, so now I've gone through all those cases that I was checking the swaging for. You can see the bulk of the cases here did not need any swaging. I'm going to put those over here. I'm using, I believe this is called the Dillon 600 swager. Love this little unit. It works, like I said, first time every time. You never have any doubt that when you swage it's the primer's not going to fit. But basically, normally I would take my press and other stuff out of here so I don't have to work around it. But there's so few of these, I didn't want to mess with it. So you can see here on the left here, we've got the ones. You simply put one case on the swager, drop it down in there, give a push on the handle, back up, and that's all there is to it. It's another thing you'll find a lot of guys that crank out a lot of ammo that need to swage a lot of shells. You'll see some more pretty creative ways that they have of loading this and offloading it. Guys will hook springs onto it, so where the thing will, after it's down in here, the spring will flip it back up off a backboard into a box and all kinds of crazy stuff. But again, for the amount of ammo I go through, you know, I mostly just stick to manual processes. It's not that big a deal for me. This little cumbersome having to reach around the camera and try to get these cases over here, but pretty simple stuff. And like I said, once you do this, you know, you don't have to do it again as long as you continue to fire your own reloads. You know, the cases are all going to come back. They're already going to be swaged. You won't ever have to worry about it again. It's just that first run through new cases, new bulk cases that you know that you aren't sure if they've got military crimps or not. All right, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish these up, and then we'll be moving on to the next step. All right, see you then.